first what we will try to look at is like how to send mails from like any visualization or from dashboard directly. So just to get started, let's create a random visualization at customer name and pull up the sales. And profit as well. So anyway, with this data source, we don't have any mail IDs, but just to, for namesake, just to create a mail ID so that we can use it. Let me pull it in details. Okay. So how we will try to achieve this is like, as all of us might be aware about the dashboard actions. So one of the action which we will use to achieve this is the go to URL action. So this is a dashboard action which is least used, at least in my cases while working on projects and all. So once you open this action here, you can just type mail to, insert the mail ID. So the reason why I pulled the mail ID in detail itself is we don't want to view the mail IDs, and also if we don't have this mail ID in the visualization, we won't be able to use it just to test link. So once you tab this, it will like from whichever mail ID you have sent in your Outlook will be used as default, and it will just proceed to the mail ID whichever you have selected. So okay. So what if you would like to send multiple IDs? So once you click on this one, like one ID you can send, but for in case if you would like to send to multiple IDs, you can't just it shows like 8 items selected. But you can't. So to do that, you have to just do a bit modifications. So actions, edit, and here you will have an option just saying allow multiple values. Once you have to check this box, just rename the hyper link 1%, so it will be more long. So currently I have selected 11 people, and once we click send mail, we'll have all the 11 mail IDs here, and we can just go forward and add the subject and whatever you would like to have in the body. But in some cases, if you would like to add subject also, and it's like sending monthly update of sales and profit, in that case the subject and the body quite remains like same in the sense, same template. They have to just take copy paste and replace only the sales and profit value. So to avoid that, we can just have some more code in the URL that will be enabling us to directly send the sales and directly send the subject and body as well. So worksheet actions, let me edit. So currently I have given mail to mail ID, then just bit of subject is equal to sales percentage 20. So once we test this link, we will be able to see the subject, sales and profit. And I think this percentage only is like more of space, and these are like some basic syntax and something. So we are done with the subject. What if you would like to send, I want to send the sales and subject everything in subject only. I don't want anything in body. Directly you can insert the some sales field. Some sales field. Once you test this link, here you'll have the sales detail. So just to add, in case if you would like to have more customized in body as well, just you can add some more code over here, so that in that case you'll be able to send the customized body as well. Just pass on the request. So this is the dashboard. We are already looking at this one. And just to add the URL action, we have just looked into the sending mails and subject. We'll go forward and see how to send or add text to body. So here, if you look at details, then we have similarly, however, we have added the subject you have to use and Amazon and body equal to sales and percentage 20 just for space and profit also. Okay. We are supposed to insert question tag. So now we got the sales and the profit for the particular. Since we haven't selected any of the customer, just we try to test URL. It's showing the total sales in the sample superstore. So now we are getting sales 6,706. So which is for the particular customer. In case if you are sometimes it feels. We have to send some greetings as well. So in that case, what we can do is we can go for a calculated field saying hi, good morning, and the text field, whatever you are interested in, just you can type saying the sales is as follows for the particular month like that. We'll look at how to make that as well. Okay, so now we have customized subject where we have all the details. So instead of inserting the sales or profit and typing more on URL, we can directly use the calculated field where we have all the details. Actions. So now we got since we haven't selected any of the customer, again we are getting the total sales and profit. Okay, so for the particular customer we have got the sales and profit, but it doesn't good in this format to have on a single line. So what we can do is we will modify the calculated field, so we'll get each one in the next line. So to do that, So what it does is this takes us to a new line. So now we got everything on single line, but we are getting double quotes. Let's fix that. now it's fixed. So this way you can just send a more customized mail. So if you are sending like good afternoon or something, then you can have parameters saying morning, afternoon, evening, and you can just guide the field through a calculated field, and you can put the calculated field in the detail shelf. So this way we can send the customized mails from our worksheet, or the same actions whichever you have done for a particular worksheet, it's applicable for the dashboard as well. You can follow the same steps there to just achieve this thing. So this is the first part I had for today, and the second one just moving on to the dashboard for performance point of view. So I have some of the tips which if you follow, there is a chance for a better improvement or performance while using the dashboard. So first we will start with the data strategy. Whenever someone says Tableau, they say the hyper extract is the most possible and it's the fastest way to achieve task. Even in fact, me and Sai, when we worked on a Metronics where we had some 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs row, when we tried to run the flow and generate CSV, it took 1 hour, but still the task got failed. So when we did in extracted all, like in fact we had like 37 files, and from the 37 files from Tableau Prep at max we can union only 10 files. So we have batch 10 file in batch of 4. So we got 4 unions, and on top of that 4 again we union to achieve the final output. But one mistake what I have done is, like first the 4 files whichever I got, I exported them as CSV, and from that CSV I tried to generate the output as hyper. That took a lot of time and we were unable to achieve the task. Then later we figured out like hyper extract was much useful and faster. So what I have done is, like I have generated the 4 batches in hyper extract, and on top of the 4 hyper extract I got the final hyper extract consisting of all the files. It took in total only 3 or 4 minutes to complete the entire task. So that much fast is the hyper extract. And coming to the hyper extract, like if you have any file CSV or Excel access, you can just go forward and use the Tableau Prep to convert or generate them to export them to hyper extract. And some case where we will work directly with the Tableau server database. I'm not sure if hyper extract is possible there, but there is a possibility of TDE. So which enables us to extract the details. Even some of the projects which I worked, where I worked on Tableau server, what the client used to do is he will have an extract file getting refreshed every time at 4 a.m. or sometime 4 a.m. so that it won't cause any issue while working. We can directly use that extract to connect to the dashboard and work on. And some cases where if you have like so much of data and you are in the initial phase of development, it's a better idea to take only a portion of the data. That's known as prototyping. Once if you take a little amount of data and if you work on once the dashboard, you are done with the calculations, everything, then you can deploy the full data source. The reason why is once we make the dashboard, there will be a lot of changes and we come up with new ideas and new calculated fields, and it takes a lot of time to load. So taking that portion of data and working on it will be a good idea. And moving to the third point, minimizing the number of fields. So whenever we get a vast amount of data, like some of the columns remains unused. So in that case, rather than deleting, there will be option to delete, but deleting is not recommended, because in later if the client comes up the idea of using those fields as well, then it would cause an issue. We have to replace the data source, and again, like it's a hectic one. So instead what you can do is you can just after developing the dashboard, you can just say hide all unused fields. So those fields remain unused and they won't even get loaded when you apply some filter or something. Those remains like passive. This is one of the technique. And minimizing the number of record, in some cases where you have vast amount of data, we won't use all. So in that case, directly you can use data source filter to remove all those rather than having them in the data source and filtering it in the visualization or something. Next, reduce the marked data points in your view. Okay, practice guided analytics. What I mean guided analytics here is rather than showing like customer level details, everything in one, we will just build at the aggregated level, saying some category, what is the total sales or subcategory. Then if the user of the dashboard, if he or she is interested in looking at more granular level, then you can go for filtering actions or parameter actions, where once they tap, they'll be viewing the details only for particular user or customer, whatever. So rather than putting entire load on one visualization, we can go for a guided analytics. And next one, unneeded dimensions from the detail shelf. Yeah, obvious. So if you have like everything at aggregate, and if you put some granular dimension in the detail shelf, again it's going to break the visualization into small portion, which again takes time to load and to affect our performance. So whatever, like all these are applicable only when you handle the vast or like huge data source. So these things won't come into effect or benefit when you are working on like 1,000 or 2,000 crores, though I'm not sure about the threshold, but still, yeah. And coming to the third point, limit your filters by numbers and type. Even I was also not aware before reading this. There have been a lot of like conditions or implications based on the different type of filters. So reduce the number of filters in the use, and use and include filter rather than exclude. Like some cases, what we used to do is like we will just select the null and exclude, and we will select like that. We will leave as it is. So instead, what we can go is we can include all and we can just tap on the null, so null will be excluded. And coming to the date filter, we will just go with the continuous date filters or relative date filter, where you will be having like today or tomorrow, and continuous date filter in the sense you will have two buttons in the left and right, where you would like to filter only for the particular date, you can just filter off. Rather than going for dimension level filter, like discrete filter in the sense where you will have separate month, year, you have to just check in the box. So Tableau says like continuous date filter are more quicker and faster than the discrete date filter. And at last, Boolean or numeric filter, what we tend to do is like if some condition will write, then we will rename that as something just to filtering purpose. So instead, what we can do is directly we can use true or false rather than using the strings. And at last, use parameter and action filter. This reduces the query load. What they mean here is sometimes you tend to have filters on the dashboard on the right saying like drop down and something. Instead, you can just navigate it through the parameter or action filters from one visualization to other. So we have some more. Maybe we will try to cover it in the next session. Since we are running out of time, we can stop. Any doubts?
Yeah, that pairing option. So, does it give us a feature of selecting 2 or 3 customers?
Okay, you want to select 2 or 3 mails, huh?
Yeah. So this will not select it. We can select 2, 3 at a time and set them.
Yeah. So the dashboard, worksheet. So here we have an option saying allow multiple others. So once you check in, like you'll be able to. So for multiple, just it again gets replicated. But if you want to send some common mail or announcements, something like that, then you can just use this technique. So select all the customers. So whatever selected, the details will go in. That's possible. Just to answer your question. Any other doubts?
Jairam, can we add attachments like images to this, or is it not possible?
I think there should be some way, like you can put some icons and you can send, but we have to figure out like what we have to add in the URL here.
Yeah, Jairam, on that, I worked on this. So we can't actually send images as such. We can send URLs of images, but using this mail to function, we can't send images as such. We can't even we can't underline stuff. We can't make it. We can't bold some stuff and all. So to send an image, we can maybe add that image to a particular URL, and we can send the URL in the body of the image, but we can't attach it directly like this.
Okay.